Ladies and gents, welcome to another Canadian Computer Collector. I just slept on my couch for 2 hours, and I'm ready for something else. As you can see, I have a dossier with a couple logic boards in it. These boards were recapped by my buddy, Mr. Fahrenheit, so shout out to Mr. Fahrenheit. And we're gonna put them back in these machines and see if they'll work. And if they don't turn on, shabba dabba doo. Oh god. June is attacking a garbage bag. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind everyone to please like and subscribe if you're into retro tech and this sort of thing. Also got social media going on. Check out the links below. Posting every day on Instagram. Cool, high-res retro Apple photos and other computer stuff. So make sure you doodle-de-bop. Anyway, let's get into this and pop these boards in and test out these color classics. So the mission today is pretty straightforward. Really just a matter of checking out if these boards work. So in this case, we're going to pop out the old battery on the first one. And this board has extra VRAM and RAM, and that will come into play a bit later. So fresh battery goes in and we can slide this thing in, and it's not that easy sliding these things in here. This one went in okay. You'll see later the second one put up quite a fight. But once it's in there, it just kind of pops into place, and then gently, without breaking the tabs, you can put that I/O plate back into place. Test number 1. Clock is not set. Well, we'll have to do something about that. Mamma mia, we have a laggy mouse. You know, add this to the list of problems with all these classic machines. Or should you? So anyway, that's good enough. We're going to move on to machine number 2. Motherboard without extra RAM or VRAM. New battery goes in, and the struggle begins. Here's part 2 where I tried to reinsert it, and I realized gravity would probably be my best tool in reinserting this board, so in it goes. And would you look at that? It won't start. That's a real mamma mia. Okay, so here's the one that won't start at all. So a bit of a CRT sound. And nothing, no green light, I don't believe. Yeah. Here's the live one. This one has a leggy mouse. We'll be back with a leggy mouse. Oh, would you look at that? The mouse isn't laggy anymore after a simple restart. Sometimes magic is real, folks. Alright, this board, unfortunately, is not booting at all. Some of you might be thinking, but Dan, where is the RAM and the VRAM? Well, actually, the Color Classic does have some soldered RAM and VRAM, and this one just won't boot. So this board's actually being recapped, as I'd mentioned earlier. So now we have to move on to the next phase. The next phase is sending it off to Australia, where my friend Bruce from Branchus Creations is going to take a look at this board and figure out why it won't boot. Bruce, what are your thoughts on this situation? All right.
I don't want it.
So if you're interested in following along with this project, make sure you subscribe to this channel, of course, but also to Bruce's channel, Branchus Creations. And in the meantime, let's see if we can get that jazz drive to work. I'd like to try some games out on this thing. So the disc goes in, and it should be reading by now. But it turned out I didn't have any iOmega drivers. I tried rebooting it a couple times. I talked to Mr. Fahrenheit. He suggested trying to bypass the hard drive on boot, which is what you're seeing here. just try and boot directly from the Jazz drive, still, it would not do anything. So what's a boy to do? Turns out the answer is nothing for 2 days. Obviously, the Jazz drive is not reading on the Color Classic. I talked to Mr. Fahrenheit about it. It might be the fact that there's no terminator on the back, and the internal terminator on the Jazz drive may be failing. All that leaves us with, at this point, is to wait until some Terminators arrive. Terminator. You guys ever see that movie Borat? And get this board, the one that's not booting at all, packaged up and sent off to my man Bruce. Let's do that now. Gee, what book should I send Bruce? Yeah, how about this one? Robert B. Parker looks like a friendly chap. So gotta slam it down, put a quick little signature in there, little signaroony. Never stop reaching for the ceiling. One day it may need repairs. And a quick letter. Hey Bruce, here is the Color Classic that won't boot. Thanks for taking a look. I hear Australia is nice this time of year. I'd like to see it one day if I don't die. Enjoy the new millennium. I have to go now, Dan. Whew, that was a lot. So obviously here we are packaging up the Color Classic board as well as the letter and the book, putting a little reinforcements on the package, a quick address, which I will not show. And it's on to 2 days in the future where Mr. Fahrenheit is now hanging out at my place and we are checking out why this iOmega Jazz drive will not read on this Color Classic. So to set the stage, we tested it, it didn't work, as predicted. So time to check out the 6166 he just recapped for me, as it did work with the 6150 workgroup server. So, you know, let's just see what's going on here. Now, this is a PowerPC machine, not a 68K, and the drive did read on this one. So the disks were formatted on a PowerPC, so we thought, let's try it on a 68K that has a hard drive, being this Classic 2. Now, it didn't read at first, but using hard disk tools, we were able to force it to mount, and then copy the iOmega drivers out of it and onto the machine, which then allowed us to read disks that had been formatted on a PowerPC. So this was some real black magic trickery from Mr. Fahrenheit, who is the software genius that all of you retro collectors need in your life. So next step was to format a 68K Jazz disc. So basically we found one that I had that was for some Kodak tools or whatever, and erased it, as you can see here, using the iOmega tools. And then with that, we put iOmega tools onto that, as well as System 7.5, so that we would have a disc that would be usable on a machine that didn't already have drivers, where we could again force it to mount and then transfer those drivers out. So it's time to get that Color Classic back plugged in and see if it actually works this time using the new disc that we just created. And lo and behold, she spins freely. So this is excellent news, obviously. And after clicking around a whole bunch, it was time to check out some games. So we got the games disc to work in there after having the tools installed. Here's SimCity 2000. Riveting content. I'm sure that all of you are on the edge of your seat as we watch this clip that's been sped up 500%. Oh yeah, what wonderful untouched land. Let's throw a power plant down. Yeah, and a road. Yeah, okay, that's good. We'll call that a city. Monkey Island 1 bricked the whole machine. Spectre ran as well as you would expect it to. Not exactly a very complicated game. What else we have? Prince of Persia. Again, this one ran pretty well. Not exactly a complicated game. I should say, though, it's a tough game to play if you've never really played it before. The controls are not as intuitive. He seems to run further than you tap the arrow key for. So this is the real premier product here, the 1991 Buick software. 1991 Buick Dimensions, to be specific. You know, it's got a golf tournament, it's got a Buick showroom from 91. Shout out to Tim for enjoying Buick Classic Golf so much. That's where we wanna go. lay down to Kokomo. Anyway, enough of the Beach Boys. That's gonna be it for this week's video, folks. Thank you so much to Mr. Fahrenheit for showing up in the flesh and actually helping me troubleshoot this jazz drive. Shout out to the Bears also that I saw over the weekend while I was golfing. Also shout out to Jay and Justin. Thank you so much, you guys, for buying me a coffee this week. I would love to take you guys down to Kokomo and just let you know how you're both my bros. Two gentlemen who remind me of a modern day Santa Claus, if you will, but not just one that delivers gifts on the 25th of December. You deliver gifts when you well please. Justin, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I hope karma catches up with you in a good way, and that you end up with a superpower, like breathing underwater or being able to see through people's clothes. Jay, I hope that you finally have the power to take the flame shirt off of the wall, wrap your body in it, and just live, man. Anyway, thank you so much to the both of you for supporting the channel. If you are interested in supporting the channel, check out the link below to buy me a coffee. Also, before we take off, just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe. If you've made it this far in the video, then you probably liked it. And if you didn't, what are you doing, man? So let's put a nice little cap on that and wrap it up like a present that nobody wanted, and just say that that's it for this week. This will just be like part one of checking out these color classics, because we still need to mail that package off to Bruce from Branchus Creations. Also, make sure you check out Bruce's channel if you don't already. Very cool stuff going on there from a very nifty dude. Thank you so much for checking out Canadian Computer Collector this week. New videos every Saturday. Make sure you take a dump on that like button and that subscribe button, and then mash that notifications bell, and you just do it all. We're just gonna end it.